hosted by your boys Jacob Santoro and Christian Talone.
You're blabbering about unnecessary stuff. Cut it out.
Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button to get all the updates from the channel too.
Tell me what your hand's doing over that button first.
But for now, just loud shout and kick back, cause I got a fresh one right here delivered to your speakers. Lock in.
Alright.
Episode 89. Today, I am so very excited. Long time coming. Me and Christian are both super stoked right now because with us on the basement couch is Mo from the Mo Show. What's up?
Hi.
Oh my gosh. We met through mutual friend ScarityCast.
Yes.
You did their show. Shout out to ScarityCast.
Yes.
Heard that you were a fan of spooky things.
I am a big fan of spooky things.
And as you know, as two dudes, as basement dwellers, you know, two dudes in a basement, we thought that was pretty spooky enough.
I will say I was not expecting the intro to be so lo-fi chill. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit creepier, but I love it. I mean, I was vibing. I was like, I could die to this music.
Could you give me an example of what you think it was going to sound like? Just like some like grunge thrash metal,
like somebody talking like this the whole time. I don't know how to explain it. I just felt like something icky.
just a sound clip of just mom, get the door.
Yeah, like I was kind of hoping somebody's mom was going to walk through at some point.
Yeah.
Also, the text for your title gives the creepy, oozy feeling.
It does.
But I'm not mad. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Continue on. Yeah.
We let our personalities kind of make the creepiness. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh, I'm in the right place.
Because I mean, what do you? I mean, we're just two dudes on a podcast. Totally original idea.
We're all just a bunch of creeps.
I mean,
yeah.
we had this idea in 2020. No one else did. Nobody. You know.
Yeah, you guys started a revolution. Now everybody,
Of course.
every white guy
Follow
has a
suit.
podcast.
That poser Joe Rogan, you know.
I mean, he just barely came on the scene. So
And you do like radio or like whatever.
yeah, it's also a dying thing. It's wonderful. I love it so much.
You know, I will say though, let me say is that for the first time ever, my parents were like, "How cool!" Like,
They were proud of you.
yeah,
Oh, man.
as I have Mo from the Mo Show 93.3 coming on, and they're like, "Wow," because everyone else they're like, "Oh, okay."
I'm also amused that your parents know me. Are they young? Like, how did?
No, but I mean, I'm assuming that I try to listen to radio when I can, and Christian was super stoked too. When we got the invite.
When they told me, I was like, "Oh, I listened to that show."
Oh, that's cool, dude. Thank you,
That's
you guys.
been like
I appreciate
That's
it.
been like the thing, like kind of in our circle of friends, is like 93.3 is like the only good radio station. Right now.
I appreciate you guys for lying to me. That is very
No,
sweet.
that's 100% true.
It's real.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
We can go to my car right now. I'll turn it on. I won't mess with the radio.
I swear to God, if it's not the number one preset on your car,
It
I'm
absolutely
going to cut your other ear.
Christian had a medical emergency before the show. I get a message from Christian, and it was the first ever time he said, "I need your help. Send quickly." Send. And I ran in. It was so gross. What happened?
Oh.
Yeah, I had a hell of a morning. So like I got over a cold recently. So like last night I was having like lots of dry coughs that kept me up till like 4 a.m. And
Delicious.
I drank way too much NyQuil, and it knocked me out until like 3 p.m. And then I woke up to Jacob knocking on my door like, "Hey man, she's about to be here in like an hour. You gotta wake up." And I was just like, "Okay." So I was just like, "Bleh," and jumped in the shower real quick. And then I was like, "Okay, I gotta trim." And then I like started shaving my beard and stuff. And then like I was doing my sideburn, and then I just went like, bzz, and just like sliced my ear. I was like, I can never wear gauges again.
Oh no!
So I have like a little puppet mouth in my ear right now.
Yeah,
And
when I
it
was
bled
over-
way more than I thought it was
Is it
gonna.
cut completely open through your gauge? Or
No, I didn't. Like, I don't have like two danglies, but
I was wondering. I was like, I
Probably-
can sew that up for you if you need me to.
probably like a good like quarter of the way through though. Like, I got it pretty good.
We
And
definitely recreated Saving Private Ryan. Like he was like, "I need you to come plug this up for me right now," and I'm like, and I was just like, "Okay," and then I just take a little thing out. I just see, bloop, bloop, I'm like, okay, almost.
That's okay, man.
He was like, "You're gonna be okay, man." I'm just.
Well,
Thanks,
if you continue bleeding, I got a bunch of tampons I can give you.
just
So
stick
that'll be
that-
helpful.
yeah, that'll work.
I mean, you got a hole big enough for it, so
I definitely do. Yeah.
it's an ultra. So good luck.
To go back what you were saying, I didn't know that you were posting it on Instagram, but you posted a Disneyland giveaway.
Yeah.
If you were like guess the songs.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about, because like it's so funny, is like he messaged me the other day, he's like, without thinking, best song right now, Disney song. But like when I heard that on the radio, like I've tried so hard my entire life. Like it is a bucket list goal of mine to win one of those things, just to get on the radio.
I've
never even gotten the Your Call or whatever. Like I never even got a chance to get through. I've done all of them. When I was a kid, I also tried to go, what was the old the 3:30 Dirty Show?
Oh my God, yeah. It was Joey Boy and Jay Phillip, the Nuts on 92.3 and then 98.3. I totally remember it because I grew up listening to that.
Yeah, my friends and I desperately were just like, we would go to school. We were in like the 3rd grade, 4th
of
grade,
course, yeah.
and we're just like, what could we like prank call? Like, because look, I feel like as I get older, please educate me if I'm wrong, but like, there's no way some of those are real.
So it depends. The things that I do are
is what I
real,
wanna know. Yes.
but there are a lot of like more pop radio stations. They have their 3:30 Dirties. They're catching somebody cheating calls.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Those
basically actors.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
because come on, how many times? I know I'm sorry. I hate to break that for you,
Damn.
but yeah, a lot of them are just actors for the most part. It's very rare when you get actual people calling. I mean, think about it. Somebody's calling you and they're like, "Oh, we got these roses, and
Yeah.
come in. Who do you want to name them to?" That is like the worst setup ever.
Right.
But it's all for entertainment, and it's the same thing with reality TV shows. A lot of the people that are listening, they are watching. They know that this is trash and garbage, and they know that it's fake for the most part. But it amuses and appeases them, so they're going to continue listening.
Yeah,
to
there's
it.
like a suspension of disbelief. It's like, it could not be real, but it could. Like this situation could happen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are also gullible that feel like maybe these are real.
Yeah.
And I remember being sucked into it when I was younger. I would talk to my coworkers before radio, obviously, because I wasn't in it. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, did you hear this, this, and this?" And we would gossip about it all the time. I'm really
Come on,
excited
you're a
about this
professional.
conversation. Sometimes I just let my words get ahead of me. And then my dyslexia kicks in. This whole thing.
You're unveiling the secrets. That
I know. I'm sorry.
For people who are just listening and longtime viewers of the show are going to hear a special voice, people who don't know, we actually have our good friend Andy manning the helm over there. This is a exclusive for the show, as usually it's me or Christian, so we are allowing our baby to be held by somebody else right now.
You brought
So
some big guns
thank you
here.
so very much, Andy, for
Holding
helping
it
us.
down. Hey, it's my pleasure. Really.
So this is the first time you've ever done this in general, or
Well, I've been a guest on the podcast before,
Okay.
but yeah, this is the first time that I've been tasked with this responsibility. But
Which it's a lot because usually all that's like split between me and Jacob.
Right.
yeah, that's a
Right.
lot of work. But I mean, think about it. You guys are also trying to host a podcast. It's like
Right.
Yes, it makes
you guys
sense, right?
focus on hosting,
Right.
which is going to make you better, and he could just focus on all the technical shit.
Right.
And that's like what I've noticed a lot on our shows, like when we have guests, because I'm usually the one running the camera switcher and stuff. And I find myself like just kind of like disassociating and I'm just really focused on the cameras.
Dude, I get it. Because I do it when I was doing mornings and I would be interviewing comedians about things.
Yeah.
You're working so many different mechanics at that point. You're pushing buttons to get to the next song. You're trying to make sure that the levels are still good and when they're talking. And you're trying to still communicate and show that you're listening. But sometimes it's really fucking
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
That's why, it works better when you have multiple people in for like a morning show, because then somebody else could do more of the talking and you can manage the whole board.
Well, my whole thing was, and I'm sure everyone regarding their best friend feels this way, but like I love the things that he says, and so it's like I would feel bad. Everything he says kills me, and so it's just like I would feel bad because, like he said, there were times where there is a lot of things going on, and I know that he has something to say about the situation, but again, he's like, like so now I'm like kind of like he's gonna steal the show from me for sure. Like it's just.
If anything, the nips are gonna steal the
Right.
show
Let's
because he was
go.
blasting nips earlier.
He does bring the sex appeal. I'm not gonna lie. He's got the mullet going on. Last episode we had some pit vipers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, he looked good. You know,
Dang,
he-
dude.
That looked pretty badass last episode.
Yeah, right.
He was dripping.
you were mentioning like the 3:30 Dirty and stuff like that. Are you a fan of trash TV? Are you?
I am not, but I recently got sucked into some trash TV on
do you got?
Netflix. It's super gay. It's called,
Nice.
it's called The Ultimatum Queer Edition.
Okay.
And
Oh, so literally. Okay.
literally, literally. So it's all women, and the whole premise of this is their girlfriend or their whatever would say, hey, either we get married or I marry someone else or we break up. It's like, why does it have to be either of those?
Yeah.
How about let's get a dog? I don't know, something.
Right.
Yeah, it's intense. And I was talking about it with another queer friend of mine at the station, and she's barely watching it. And I hate this show so much. I hate it so much. I love talking about it.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I mean, we all have our guilty pleasures of shows we hate watch. What do you got?
Well, so I was gonna say we have a mutual friend, and she got me into that show and those shows like Love
The
After
Queer
Lockup.
Edition?
No, like Love After Lockup, and then like we got really into MILF Manor.
What?
And then
I don't know.
MILF Manor.
Oh, are you familiar?
No, is it MILF? No, that was MILF Island.
Yes.
That was on a different.
Yeah. So MILF Manor. so for people who still don't know, it was one of the worst television shows I've ever seen in my life. So
Horrible premise
So
for
let me
a
give
show.
you some background here first and
Is
foremost.
it MILFs in a manor?
Well, no, the reason why it
no,
affects me
God.
so heavily is because I have been fortunate enough. I have two moms in my life. I have a stepmom and my mom, and both of them are just beautiful
And
ladies.
they're both banging.
Oh, are they?
They're
you
beautiful.
better show up with some pictures. I'll be the judge of that.
Later. I'll show
Okay.
you later. But so when that show came out, I was like, you couldn't pay me. Like there are people who were just like, oh, would you? So, but the whole premise was, okay, you older, lovely ladies are going to go on this island in Mexico and you're going to look for love, right? But the whole caveat was that not only are they going to be there,
Well, hold on, real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Wait.
Go
Is
ahead.
their son's gonna be
Yes.
there? I did see a piece
Yes.
of this,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What bullshit are we watching?" Sorry, I don't mean to be
so
yelling.
imagine being in that situation where it's just like watching your mom trying to, and there were some moms who were way thirstier than others.
Oh, yeah.
And it was rough. Like you feel bad for some of the dudes. Like you find out they do they tell their secrets, and one of the secrets was like I had sex with your best friend, and it just
There was one game where they had to figure out their, like, it was like they put the guys in a group and then they put all the moms in a group and they dumped out a laundry basket for each of the groups and they had to pick out their mom's underwear.
yeah.
Gross.
Right.
What the hell
And there was
is
one dude-
happening to TV?
And there was one dude who picked out a G-string and he was like flossing with it. It was so gross.
Oh my God! I hope she had Taco Bell that day too.
And it's just horrible. But are you familiar with Love After Lockup? It's exactly what it sounds like. So first of all,
Oh
all
my
of these are on the
gosh.
same. They're all on TLC, which is
course.
like
The Learning Channel.
the learning,
of course.
And it's literally just people who are essentially having relationships with people who are in prison. And these people are getting out of prison. And the whole premise of the show is them explaining to their family, I'm going to date this dude now. And he's out of jail. And like, yeah.
so
And I agree with you. I love what you said is that you hate how much you want to watch. It's like a car crash. You can't help but watch.
I dated somebody that was in jail.
Really? Like during?
Oh man.
Like
did.
the same
I
situation as like the show. Like,
I
were
mean,
you-
I don't know what were they in for murder or something?
I don't remember. It
Not-
was like a laundry list of
a
things.
long
and-
time ago it happened, but it was a different thing. It was like, drugs. Like I sold drugs to somebody on accident. I don't know how to explain that.
Did you meet them while they were in jail?
Yeah.
Whoa.
How'd you do that?
Okay, so they were on work furlough. So I would go into their place of work, and it had been a long time since I've been in there, and I was buying some like plugs actually. And then we just hit it off, and we started talking, and then I went back again another time, taking my number the first time, but then the second or third time that I went, I ended up giving him my number, and I figured, and I didn't. I was just like, look, I know it's weird. And I gave him my number. And then he's like, oh. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I should have asked. Were you dating somebody? He's like, I'm in jail right now. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Here's a hold on, my shift's ending.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess this is me forever. And I was immediately turned on.
Oh my gosh.
That's the thing.
Are you a I can fix him kind of?
No, I just really enjoyed his personality.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Very
I was like,
mysterious. You're like, oh, very.
It must
Well,
be go ahead.
No, go ahead. It must
I was
be
gonna
what?
say it must be just like to have such an eccentric, amazing personality to overlook I'm currently in prison right now. I'm sure this person was like,
Prison and
dang.
jail are
oh,
two
to
different
jail.
things.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, that's still pretty cool. I mean, just like that's. I mean, you got to have some real riz to be able to do that. I mean,
I remember when he told me, I was like, all right, cool. I guess we'll just figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were times where, like, after he'd get out of work, he had, maybe an hour to kill before he had to be back in jail. Because it was at Tent City at the time. This is a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Which are not RIP. What am I talking about? That place is terrible. And so there would be times where I would pick him up after work and we would hang out at my house, and then I would take him back to jail.
That's kind of sweet.
you know what? You are a very sweet person. I love
like that.
Yeah.
Aw,
Some kind energy
Nah.
right
that's
there.
kind of cute.
F that. I just wanted some dick.
That sounds like a
That's probably what it was. I don't anymore.
Christian
clearly.
and I need some
what
real
a
ride or
meet
dies
cute.
like that.
We could write a movie about that.
Now, are you from Arizona?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay. And you've lived nowhere else?
No, sadly not. I mean, like, I've stayed in Mesa a lot of my whole life too. But I lived in Phoenix actually, kind of around here.
Okay.
For a little bit, but then I just realized Phoenix and I we're not compatible.
No.
Yeah. I know. Don't be sad. I know
No,
you're all
I feel
upset
that.
over
I
there.
feel that. Honestly, like I've worked around Phoenix, and I love it here. But it's like, man,
Where are you
like,
from? Where are you from?
I'm originally from California, but I moved over here when I was in like middle school.
Okay.
But so I guess I'm like an Arizonian now.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
all my formative years were out here. So, but yeah, originally like he and I are from like the Surprise, like El Mirage area.
Yeah, I
Suburb
mean,
kids.
and that's such an interesting area to begin with because there's really not a lot, especially growing up, at the time when you guys showed up.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot going on. So it's
No.
kind of hard to appreciate that part of town.
No, yeah, I grew. We when we moved here, we were in like a brand new neighborhood, so it was like our own. Like we were the only house in like a giant dirt lot.
Yeah. That's how it was in Surprise and El Mirage.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like-
Andy's
Oh,
from,
we
Andy's
actually
from that area
yeah,
too.
we all went to
I'm
high
actually
school
staying there
together.
right now.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
I was just gonna ask how you all know each other if y'all grew up on the
Yep.
same, dirt lot block together.
Well, what's cool too is it's like I remember growing up. It's like now I still am that I am in that I love downtown Phoenix era of my life where it's just like I
Yeah.
want to be there all the time. I do photography and stuff like that, so it's like I love to just be out there and do cool stuff.
and there's so much to see down
yeah, and I
there.
love like my little things. Like I love going on my way to go to like Gracie's or like just like little bars like
Yeah.
that. But it was funny when I got older and I was able to go down there. The amount of pearl clutching I learned from just growing up in suburbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 22 or 3, I moved to Los Angeles just for a little bit. And I was like, oh, there's a guy doing crack on the.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, there's a dude taking a full blown shit in the middle of the road. So it's like, hey, it's a Tuesday.
So now, but now it's like I could go downtown, no problem. Just like look straight ahead. Like, you just mind your own. Like,
yeah, and that's all you can do at this point. But and there's just so much traffic right now. I know that sounds weird to bitch about, but it's not traffic, construction.
Yeah.
Like
No,
everything,
it's-
I don't
it
know
is.
where to turn
It's
left,
like
and
that
Since
I'm
2000.
pretty sure I go backwards a lot. So
Avondale's been under construction since I lived there when I was a child. Like, it's insane.
See, I'm recently on my Scottsdale like binge
No!
right now. Yes, I'm in the. I don't really go out often. So when I did go out and I saw like all the different clubs at Scottsdale, like Friday night, and like it feels like
I
Vegas.
love that you're finger gunning right now like this about it.
Yeah,
Friday
fucking
night.
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's what it felt. I didn't even have to do anything. I was just walking around and I was like, oh, there's fucking drugs right there. Like, oh, that was a drug dude right there. And like the cops are like out there.
Everyone's doing coke out there.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now.
I was thinking too, like when you're out there, there's got to be like celebrities like hidden in the crowd, like getting clubbed up, And I'm
Basement
just like,
dwellers?
who's here right now? Exactly, but that's where it was wild being out there.
I
It did remind
can't-
me of Vegas.
So do you party in Scottsdale at night or during the day?
That was at night. During the day, I went and saw actually my dad perform. He did a show in Wasted Grain. Yeah, he's a musician.
Oh.
And
Oh my
he-
God,
he
watch
played
me
with
know
the-
your dad.
He played with the band called the Mac Daddios. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're like
I've
a
never
local.
heard of them.
Okay. They're like old dudes who play like classic rock covers, but they
Old dudes.
old.
And they're called the Mac Daddios?
Yes.
No.
My dad is in the band.
That's
Yeah.
so hip.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I went to the show and it was the largest sea of Hawaiian shirt wearing
Hell
motherfuckers
yeah.
I've
Oh
ever
my
seen.
God.
Endless cargo shorts, and I was like, Dave, Bill, Jim, like, and everybody was like, yes, me.
What is
And I
this,
was
like
like, it's just a test, but I fucking knew it. And
Oh my God.
but it was really cool, and like during the day, like obviously it's a lot different because at night it's like full on, like going to the Riot House during the day, like there's no way it's going to be the same energy. But the Riot House during the nighttime, it was like a legit riot, you know, and like fog and smoke. Like I thought there was a fire going on in there. The DJ's up on the stage, like, yeah. I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, Scottsdale goes hard,
me
but
an air.
I enjoy
their
it.
drugs go hard too. so.
Every place that I think of, like I only know of like bars. So it's like when I think of Scottsdale, I think of like Gilligan's. I love Gilligan's. It's like so like when I want to go.
Where's Gilligan's? Where do I know that?
It's
Educate me.
It's
I don't
right.
know
It's
either.
right next to. It's right next to. What's that fancy Brazilian steakhouse? Fogo de Chao.
Oh,
It's right. It's
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
like right there.
Been calling it the
but
wrong
it's got a
name.
cool. It's got like a. It's pretty cool. You should check it out. But you're from here and you've been doing radio for 11 years.
Dang.
Oh my God.
About. We tried doing some homework.
Oh, my brain hurts. yeah, I think so.
You've been working in the radio business since about like around 2011, right?
Ew, you guys are gross.
I told you we should have done it.
I wanted to have something.
Oh, no, we
No,
were very
honestly,
excited.
I appreciate you guys digging. Yes, I have started in 2011. Before that, I was a massage therapist, and then I was like, man, fuck
What a
this.
change.
Yeah, I guess I just always I feel like I've talked about this a lot in podcasts. But,
I'm sure.
I bet.
It's our turn now.
Yeah. When I was younger, like, you know, we were talking and geeking out about radio, and my mom was a big radio nerd, and I in turn love radio because there was just so much different music to hear, and at the time, this is where I got my music.
Right.
So my mom won something through the radio station, Power 92.3, and it was movie passes to go see Batman Forever.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
I fucking love Batman Forever
Yeah.
because of that. And before then, I think it was at the movie theater was across the street from a Planet Hollywood. Remember those? They did some like pre-screening hangout at the bar, and I met the DJs, and it was the morning show at the time, and it was Bruce Kelly and Maggie Brock. You guys probably don't know that because you moved here later, but I met them, and I was like, I want to be in radio when I grow up. And sure shit, here I am.
That's so cool.
That seriously is.
So how do you? Again, a lot of these questions, it's like you are like the master of answering now. But it's like when you make that transition, what was the first steps of that? So, and the reason why I asked that is because growing up, I was around like Stern. That was my dad's like go-to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like Holmberg, you know what I mean? Just like,
same,
it was
yeah.
just growing up listening to the same thing. I loved them. When I was a kid, I loved like Jock Shock Radio, just like, whoa.
Well,
it's
because
the-
at the time that was the big thing,
right.
You know,
and you know, listening to people call in and like do all that stuff. And then as I got older, I've always wanted to do this. And so when 2020 rolled around, I didn't know where to go when it came to radio broadcasting, but Papa Biden gives you a check to just have fun with. I just was
I
like,
wish I got that check.
Yeah.
I was like right on the borderline. I was like, no.
oh. So that's exactly what I did with it. And like, it was either A, learn how to podcast, or B, just go hijack a radio tower and be a pirate radio station. Like,
Honestly, both
like,
great investments.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
Very
I'm so
fulfilling.
curious, especially like, so I'm assuming you did go to school, like there's schooling for it?
Well, I thought I had to. I was Googling, and I was set up to do, what was I doing? I inquired about a school called Ohio Broadcasting, Radio Broadcasting School that was in Denver for some reason. And so I put some money down. I was like, yes, I want to apply. And I was getting ready to move. And then 2 weeks before I was supposed to move, my appendix burst. So all the money that I saved up ended up going towards the hospital. And I was like, I'm so fucked. How am I going to do this? And I was like, and I just got really stoned one night, and I was like, F it.
Good for you.
What did I do? I Facebook messaged Brett Vesley from KUP.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
it was
wow.
in the middle of the night, you know? And that
like
motherfucker
your
had been
origin
on.
story.
Yeah,
Really?
right? Yeah. So it was the middle of the I was like 3 a.m. and I knew he was awake. And I was like, I know you're not doing shit. Answer me. And he answered immediately. And he
way.
told me, you know, you can go to school, that's great, but you're going to waste your money. Everything that you can learn at school, you could do in a radio station. Just get your foot in the door, whether it be a janitor or whether it be in promotions. Just make sure that your face is seen, work your ass off, and let people know what you want to do. And then from there, it evolved into that. So I ended up emailing X1039 at the time.
Yeah.
And I lied and said that I was that I needed an internship for my college class, even though I wasn't even in college. They didn't even ask me about that shit, so that was even better.
That was such a Steve Jobs move.
There you
That was so cool. Just bullshitted my way into this.
I mean, you know, if you're confident enough, you can get through with anything.
Of course.
Just don't, answer any questions afterwards. So then I started working there. It was interning. I was working for free, and I was working so many different jobs just to cover everything. And then I got a job at X1039 and then eventually moved to KUPD and told Brett, like, hey, dude, thank you. You're the reason I am here now because of your guidance.
Yeah.
And
And he answered at such a late time. Like, that's just, you got to do it. That is just evidence that you got to just say, fuck it, get stoned.
I mean, the one
fuck
thing,
it, submit it, write the letter, promote yourself.
That's gonna be the name of your new book. Fuck it, get stoned, do it.
yeah.
God damn.
I mean, that's like the best tagline I could ever have.
You know how many grandmothers I would punch in the face to get a radio gig with you, dude? Do you know how much I would love to be on morning radio with Christian? Are you fucking serious?
Morning radio?
Yeah, of course.
Morning radio is a beast,
because
dude.
because
That's hard.
and because I love the dynamic because you wouldn't have slept yet.
Yeah.
And I would be
like,
nice and chipper.
NyQuil's
You know what I
still
mean?
in my
I'll be
veins.
Oh,
delirious
man.
as hell.
Me and Christian are on complete opposite schedules because he works at night. So like I get up at 4:30 in the morning for the gym.
Okay.
And so it's like when I'm waking up, I'm like, hey man, good night. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
like, but I would love that, man. I would love to do like that's so cool. Like ever since I was a kid, like me and my dad, like we'd be silly and like we'd do like in the car on the way to school.
That's
like
so fucking rad,
hey,
dude.
it's
I love
Jacob
that.
and his dad at morning radio. Dad, what are you feeling today? Like we would just do funny shit like that, and like I just go
Get your
around my
radio voices.
of course, all the time. Just when you're tuning into, you know what I mean? Just like I would do that all the time in my house, and I think that's why like I started doing this. Like it's so fun. One
really
question
is.
I've been burning to ask, like I've been dying to ask
Okay.
you. I cannot. It's so hard for me to control
No.
on my voice when it comes to this. Like, is it hard to not swear on the radio?
No.
Really?
No. Something goes off in your brain as soon as you know you hit. If you're the one controlling the buttons
Mm-hmm.
and you see that red light go on in front of you, you know that if you say something that it's not going to end well for you.
Right.
But thankfully, if you do accidentally curse, or maybe if you have a guest in that curses, because that's happened to me before.
Oh, really?
You get a dump button. So every single radio station is on a delay. What you're hearing, like through the speakers, is not. It's actually 8 seconds to 15 seconds ago that it was said.
Okay.
So on the delay, which is great, you hit that button and it'll delete a portion of whatever audio you want cut out, and then it'll come through on the air as if like a weird static fix. I don't know how to explain
Like
it.
a cut? Like a quick cut?
It'll sound like a cut. They'll say one thing and then it cuts into something else, and you'll think it's maybe like a radio glitch or whatever. But no, it's because somebody cursed and they hit the dump button.
So without, I guess, we're not going to ask names or anything like that, but I mean, I'm assuming there is a preparation of like, do me a favor and just kind of keep it a little PG for radio. But
I mean, most people that come in, they
Professional,
know the drill. I mean,
right.
they've done radio interviews before. I've cursed on the air before on accident, and it was on. This is when I was doing promotions with KUPD, and Shanman put me on the air, and they were talking about. I don't know if you guys know who Charlie Cradle is.
sounds familiar.
So he's just like one of like the ghouls that come out to a lot of their events, and he's like some crazy wrestling aficionado, but he's deaf. And so John always like makes fun of his voice on the air. Well, and so like he's become just his own character for some reason. They asked me some weird question about him, and I don't know why I said fuck it. And then not thinking, because I was on the other side of the board and he's controlling it, and next thing you know, he's like, you're never coming on the air again, and he never put me on the air after that.
Wow.
But that's fine, because then I just I have my own radio station to
was
do
gonna
that
say,
now.
yeah.
So.
I mean, it does sound like there's like it can be a very pressure filled job, but I mean, you make it sound so effortless. Like it sounds like
Yeah,
you're
you definitely have the voice. Like when I learning that you're going to be the guest, and I was like, I know this voice. Yes, yes, of course.
I don't even
makes sense to me.
I don't know why I don't know how to explain it. It's not that something that I knew growing up is like, oh, you got a voice. I just knew that I could try and use it, and then it just turned out to be this way.
No, yeah, definitely. When you first
that make
sat down
sense?
and I heard you in the mic, I was just like, oh, she's here.
that has
so
to be
funny.
that has to be one of the most backhanded compliments of all time, though.
No,
where it's like-
not at all.
Like, no, I'm saying like when you meet somebody and you're like, "Hi, thanks for coming," and they're like, "Wow, that's what you look like." You know what I mean? Like,
100%. Because before, now we have social media, so now you could
Right.
look
Yeah.
and see what people look like.
Right.
Right.
So it's not too much of a difference for people. And yeah, like I'm trying to think who I heard and I was like, whoa, you look like that. And I think it may have been, and not in a negative way, but I think it was Fitz. I don't know why I pictured a completely different person when I heard Fitz's voice. And then when I met him, I was like, oh, you're fucking Mexican. That's interesting and weird. I thought you were just like this white guy. But yeah, no, it's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm never offended when it happens.
Oh, good.
It's very...
Me and Christian are fragile little snowflakes, so we met one person. It was the first time we ever had someone be like, oh, hey, you're the guys from Basement Dwellers. And it was... This is what I assume heroin feels like. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, it is me. Like, oh yeah, it is me. And the guy without hesitation, he goes, you know, you guys are really funny. I really like when you guys have guests on though, and not so much when it's just the two of you. That resonated with us, but still, obviously. But like that night,
How he said it.
How did he say
How'd he
it?
say
He
it?
was just like, you know, I really like. He's like, I think the episodes where you guys have guests are really funny. Like he said,
Very-
it kind of like a little backhanded,
Yeah.
like basically like when you have guests, it's better.
Okay.
You know, so we were kind of like, well, we need to have guests on every episode.
Well, then let
now.
me ask you this. Does that drive you to do a better show together than it is with other people? Because it should motivate you. For most people, they'll like hold on to it. But
Right.
if you can motivate yourself to get yourself out of whatever that is, or also maybe that's just their preference. I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because me personally, I like mine and Jacob's episodes where it's just me and him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like me and Jacob have like he said, like we have like this chemistry where it's like we say jokes that only he and I get, but I don't know, like our personal comedy is kind of like infectious, you know. So we're like people are like, you know, you guys will say shit that I don't even understand, but the way you guys say it is so fucking funny.
It's true.
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
at the end
It's
of the
always
day,
great to hear other people's conversations.
right. And Christian
Yeah.
brought up a really good point is that at the end of the day, like, because we'll do a lot of like, I know that sometimes it can be insufferable to like, we'll just play pretend. Like we did this bit a few episodes ago where I was like, okay, I want you, how would you react to being noticed like in your fame? Like we're famous. Like we got like, and someone's like, I know you from somewhere, you know? So we like did like a pretend thing. And that's my way of like, I don't know what else to talk about. So let's have fun with this, you know?
Yeah.
But the way that he said it was like, at the end of the day, this is for us. You know what I mean? Like so it's-
Ultimately.
you know what I mean? So it's like, we want to do a good job, but it's like, you want to have fun doing a good job.
It's more fun to
100%.
watch somebody have fun doing a good thing. That's what we were talking about before, like watching like those weird like Adult Swim like shows. Is because you know that the creators who made that, you just see the creative bliss. You know, you see them
Absolutely.
just like, oh, we're just gonna uncompromise. Like our vision is gonna be completely uncompromising right now.
That's true. Now, let me ask you this. Do you guys ever go back and listen to your episodes?
I
do.
know he listens to all of them.
That's great.
I will listen to them when I'm making like TikToks for them and stuff like that. Like I'll find specific ones.
Yeah, like the shorts and stuff.
I
Yeah,
always
think are
find it
great.
difficult to do that sometimes. When I was doing my own podcast, I hated editing it. In my mind, I just felt like I was terrible. I was shit. I didn't know how to do anything right.
Yeah, no, I feel that when
I was hard on myself.
I make anything when I produce anything like that. I'm just like I have to listen to it. Like I have to take breaks because if I just consistently listen to it, I'll just nitpick the like every little
And
thing.
that's what I did. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. And to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not enjoying this anymore, hearing what I'm doing. Even though other people enjoyed it, in my mind, I don't understand why. But yeah, I'm glad that you guys don't always go back and do it because sometimes that could fuck your shit up.
It's,
don't like-
definitely it's a no process if anything.
Yeah.
It's a way for us to kind of just be like, okay, we know what we need to do differently. Hence why it's like we do want
And
to
you
try
feel
doing
it. You guys know, so
because
that's
we could
even
be
better.
goofy all day long, but also it's like one criticism I've heard is that you've had people on that do a specific thing, but you didn't really talk about what they do. They're just kind of there to joke around with you.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, we've had bands on where it's just like, I think maybe like once or twice I mentioned it, but you wouldn't even notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one thing that I do, I was so happy that he decided to like do like some research because this is one of our bigger shows. Like you were a big guest to us.
Thank you.
You know, and so, you know, we have things to talk about now, which is actually something I wanted to transition to, which was, it's Nerdgasm.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that because I noticed the tattoos. Got the controller. Got the.
Yeah, I got all kinds of random stuff
Yeah.
on me.
Sick.
Well, I just wanted to do when I listen to radio, everyone has their entertainment section. They have things that they talk about that are in the news. And for me, one thing that I felt like was not touched upon was more pop culture or nostalgic things, or really anything relating with STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, things like that. Or space. So I wanted to try and come up with something where I can kind of fit things into it, because we nerd out on so much stuff.
Definitely.
And it feels as of recently, I have just been talking about a lot of Disney things, but then I forget, like, Disney and Viacom and all them, they own everything. So it's hard to not talk about it.
One of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
So, there's that. I mean, there's AI stuff that we talk about. And plus I have the sponsor, University of Advancing Technology. So I still try to, incorporate things with that, including video games. And like, video games is one of my passions. I love playing video games. So, I mean, I wanted to try and do things that were different than what other people are doing. Yeah. And I'm hoping that comes across. And if it doesn't, then fuck you.
Yeah. Garbage.
I mean, you got to support it for sure. I mean, I'm sure you could tell walking in, it's like we got the 40K minis. Like,
yeah,
we're big
I loved it. Yeah.
big tabletop gamers. You got the D&D books down there. Nice. It is cool to hear that outlet. Like, I love, like, one thing with me is I'm such a dumb caveman when it comes to nerd culture. Like, when we look at 40K, I like to roll the dice and I like the strategy. He is a walking, talking encyclopedia. So
and but that's the beauty of it. There's so many there's a whole different aspect. Everybody's on a different spectrum when it comes to the thing that they love. Some people go hard, and some people are just still getting into it, or some people are just,
It's a complementary, symbiotic
the yin and
relationship.
yang.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're codependent. That's what that is.
That's what I'm getting at.
Awareness. Let's go.
So for you, like, you consider yourself a nerd, I would say, and then
On a surface level, maybe.
I was gonna say, how deep does that actually go? Like, I know you're like a fan of like Pokemon and stuff like that.
I'm a fan of like so many different things. Like, it ranges. And honestly, I feel like I'm one of those people that knows a little about a lot of things versus knows a lot about a little bit of things.
Yeah, I'm in that. I believe that. I'm the same.
Which I feel like there's more of that around than there is, the other. So I don't know. I guess, like, if I have to, do I have to give like a number between 1 and 10, or like how you're like, how nerdy are you?
No. No, we're not trying to compete
Like,
with you.
That's
are we
it. Time
about
to
to like
gatekeep.
throw down with
Like,
slammers or like
listen,
what?
If you can't name the 225th Pokemon right now, you need to go. No.
It's like you're gonna come up to me and ask me, oh, you like, I'm wearing a band shirt, and you're like, name 3 songs.
You were
Oh, you like
speculating on what the
music?
Basement Dwellers was? Congratulations. We're about to gatekeep
I
you.
I knew it.
Gatekeeping nerds. Here we go. You did mention, you've been getting really into Disney. This begs the question. I got to bring it back from a previous episode. Would you consider yourself a Disney adult?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Now, let
I
me
grew
ask-
up on Disney.
Now I need you to be completely modest when I ask you this question.
I can't do
You
that.
go on a first date, right? What date would be more insufferable? A Disney adult or a Harry Potter adult?
Fuck, I'm dating Harry Potter.
Oh shit.
And I'm a Disney adult, and I think we've learned to codependent on each other with what we love. I don't know. It's hard to say, because in the relationship I'm in now, we are both from very different worlds.
Okay.
Me, I'm a Mexican girl that's lived in Mesa her whole life, and I guess needs to get out. And then my girlfriend is a Black woman who traveled so much because her parents were, in the military and like all that cop stuff. So she's seen so many things, but she also grew up Christian. And so, like, the things that I listened to, which was like hardcore rap, everything in the 90s. I'm listening to fucking like Jodeci for some reason too. I'm 5. I shouldn't be listening to this, but I am. And she didn't even know that music existed because she only listened to church music. So it's weird how our worlds, even though we're very different, how we have combined and how it works so well.
I think that's cool because you found a hobby that, though they're not the same, it's like your love for both of them kind of like spreads over.
It like translates.
I would say, because I mean, like, I guess if I had to put a label on it, I would say I'm more Disney, but I've dated an obscene amount of Harry Potter girls.
Okay, but what house though?
Mostly Slytherin.
Then that's your problem.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
dating these Slytherin bitches.
Not only were
Which,
all
by
of
the way,
them.
shout out House Slytherin. That's
I'd like to take this opportunity to say shout out. I'm such a
Haven't
good.
like I think like 2 or 3 of his exes have a Death Eater tattoo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rough. So
That's
I
also
definitely,
another
I
thing,
definitely
too.
have a bias. And we were just talking about Disney songs and like,
I think that's your red flag, man.
Just the Death Eater tattoo.
yeah.
The Harry Potter red flag.
I just want to meet a nice girl that doesn't auto-populate to Slytherin. Is all
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like I'm a
100%.
good Christian
Yeah,
Hufflepuff.
where are the Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff ladies
Yeah.
at? You know?
Yeah,
I think I was Ravenclaw when I checked.
Really?
I can't remember.
You're like the only Ravenclaw I've ever met in my entire.
That's not true.
Everyone is
I guarantee you there's lots of people who tested Ravenclaw the first time and they're like, no,
Yes,
no.
100%. 100%.
I gotta do this again and make my answers
then
more
Hufflepuff.
edgier.
Yeah, right.
I've never heard of anyone
What
being a
BuzzFeed
Hufflepuff.
question is this? Oh my
There was
god.
like some website, right? Like a while back.
Oh, there's 1,000. You could take them right
Oh.
now, like
Right.
thequizlet.com and like which one are you? You know.
Support the show. Patreon.com/BasementDwellerProductions. Thank you all so much for the support. And now more of the Basement Dwellers.
Speaking of music, I saw this written down on Christian's notes. I have to ask, your first concert was Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yes, it was.
How was that?
It was incredible. I was obsessed
Really?
with what was that album? East 1999 something. Oh my god, I can't think of it right now. God, I'm not that good of a fan anymore. But I was obsessed. I would slick my hair back.
Oh, yeah.
I
hell yeah.
thought I was a gangster. I'm like 10, okay?
You were.
I begged my mom to take me to this show. And my key opening thing was like, why don't we go see Bone Thugs and Harmony? Keith Sweat is going to be there. And I know you love Keith Sweat. So she took me. Mind you, we get there and it's at Blockbuster Desert Sky Pavilion. Now, the amphitheater that's out there. What the
Yeah.
fuck is the name?
Used to be
Talking Stick Resort
Yes.
Amphitheater now.
Yeah.
Ashley Home Furniture. Oh my God, I can go on there. So funny. And you know, there's Keith Sweat dry humping some girl on stage, and we're there, and I'm like, yeah. I didn't
Hell
know.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
I loved hearing that because it reminded me of my stepmom, who's one of my favorite people of all time. Her first show was Boys to Men.
oh my God, I would love to see them
and
live.
she told me a story that because it was general admission and she was able to get to the front. And she was probably like, I think she said she was like a freshman,
oh wow.
but like they were looking right at her during I'll Make Love to You. And she was like, it changed my life.
oh my God. And she's dated black men ever since. No,
No.
I'm just kidding.
Just my dorky dad. That's about it.
Well,
what was
maybe
you,
maybe
what
he
was,
was down on bended knee.
Oh, maybe. What was your first concert?
My first concert was actually Van's Warped Tour.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I think it was like pretty late. Like I think right before senior year, so like 2011.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I saw a bunch of my favorite bands like
That's-
for the first time.
What was the band that you discovered there that like blew your nips off?
Oh man, probably Asking Alexandria, but that burned out pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Nice.
Because then like
2011. That's when I started radio, and you were. Oh my God.
I
We're
was,
28. We're
28.
little
Back
babies.
then I was 17.
Oh, but we could show the. I mean, we were scene boys. Like we definitely
Oh,
have
yes.
transpired
I
from.
concur that.
Yeah, we had the. I mean, I had the long hair that was straightened. I had the
Nice.
burgundy skinny jeans.
Hell yes.
Yeah, now I did not.
I
look
went
like
there.
a
I
fuckboy.
went there in some swim trunks and a backpack. That's all I had. On.
I mean, honestly, that is the attire for any
Right?
Warp Tour.
Yeah.
Because you will die out there.
It is
Oh, yeah.
insulting that Arizona continuously decides to have festivals between May and August. It's just. And then they have the audacity to charge $12 for a bottle of fucking Dasani.
Oh my gosh!
Of
Right, and
Dasani.
Dasani
Yeah.
of all things.
Yeah.
You know, at
I-
least give me a Fiji water.
I tracked down the fire truck and I was just just got soaked
Seriously.
in between sets.
So you guys aren't drinking water out of the toilet like you should be during those concerts because
And that's the thing,
free
too,
water.
is like
Free
looking
water.
back at it and being such a shit teenager is just like things that I could never do now. It's like I went there, I had no water all day because I couldn't fucking afford it. And it's like I'm chain smoking Bronson cigarettes and like I'm like stoned, and then it's like I find like half empty, disgusting. And it's just like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
if I did any of that today, I'd go into cardiac arrest. Like I cannot believe how many festivals I went to with like no money, like no ride after, like figured out.
And no phones.
And no
it was a
phone.
much simpler time where
Yeah.
you're not having to, call people or anything or text them and find out where they are. Man, I do not miss that era.
Yeah.
The last Warp Tour I went to, I think it was back at Auction Pavilion or whatever it is, but everything was on pavement. And it was hot as fuck. I'm pretty sure at one point, I think I was watching Authority Zero go on, and my shoes were sunk into the asphalt because it was that fucking hot.
Oh dang!
It was so
you stuck to your feet.
Yes.
Oh man.
It was miserable. And I think that was the same year we also decided to bring out a dunk tank.
Oh.
And it's kind of messed up because everybody else was like, let me get in the water. Let me get in the water. Well, that water, had to be still water that had been sitting there for days because I got dunked in it and I got sick immediately afterwards.
Oh wow.
It is insane to this day. Like I am so shocked at the not to make it too much of like a shift, but like I always get so sad. I mean, we're disgustingly hot.
Yeah.
And it's just
We're not meant to live here.
No, it's just like
the
the lack of just preparedness for anything during the summer here is insane. Like
100%. Because this was me last week when my friend Izzy, who does the morning show at Alta Izzy,
I was about to have a coronary. I thought you were friends with our Izzy. I was like, this dude's an amalgam. Like, I'm sorry, continue.
No. So she's like, hey, let's go tubing down the Salt River. And I've done it before, but this was 10 years ago or whatever. I forgot that it's 5 fucking hours long.
Yeah.
And I only brought fruit and like 1 bottle of water.
Right.
I'm thinking it's going to be 2-3 hours. No big deal. We're going to get on this tube and boom. I even brought sunscreen, but it wasn't enough. I ended up getting a cellular sunburn, which doesn't mean,
Cool
the
band
sun
name.
burned. Yeah, I know, right? Cellular sunburn. Somebody asked me, they're like, what'd you do? Get a sunburn through your phone? How did that happen? I was like, no, your cells in your body, asshole.
Go back to school.
I burned myself.
Yeah. And it's like to the point, like the next morning when I was getting out of bed, because it only happened on my legs. If I put my foot down on the floor, it felt like the whole thing was going to just explode. Like there was so much pain and pressure. And I was like, you're from Arizona. You should know better. You should know better.
I think that's the thing is you feel invincible. Like I feel like I don't have to wear sunscreen because I'm from Arizona. Like
now in my 30s, I know I'm not invincible. It's clearly proven. Oh
Christian almost died by cutting his ear today. I mean, we're
exactly, and you're not even 30 yet.
I was gonna say I've been
You're
tempting
getting there.
fate in this weather because I've been tilling this yard like the last couple weeks and like man, like I haven't gotten sunburned yet, but I've been getting a pretty sexy tan, I think.
Yeah.
And
does it match your shirt?
What?
Like he has sleeveless shirts, like it's cut
got
down.
the farmer's town.
So do you got
a little bit.
Okay. I kind of want the tan to just be like this your shirt.
Just a straight line.
Yeah, it turns out you're not wearing a shirt.
No, I mean I don't know. I've tried to like pound water out there and stuff. I can't work out there for longer than like maybe a couple hours.
Well, it's miserably hot.
Oh, my
You got to
God.
do it like right when you get done with work.
I was gonna say like I might start proposing like before you go to bed in the morning.
Yeah. So I do a couple hours in the
Just do a
yard.
couple hours in the yard.
They're like, what?
Before
the
the sun
neighbors are
comes
calling
up.
the cop. What crackhead is back there digging?
I don't think so, man. We got these people over here. They like bump karaoke till like the
Are you
wee hours
kidding
in the
me?
morning.
was
They
gonna
were
say,
bumping karaoke out here before I rolled in. I was like,
yeah?
at first I thought it was a garage sale. I saw a table with a whole bunch of
Yeah.
random things
Yeah.
on it. I was gonna go up and just give him some money to see if I can get something. But
You probably could. I know. This guy's always hustling.
why don't you
something.
interview these guys?
I would
I
love
thought
to.
about it.
He's actually a metal worker. He like
Yeah.
makes metal sculptures.
No
in his
way.
backyard, they made a live stage out of a shipping container.
Yeah, you might have seen it in his front yard. He has like a Lego, like a steel Lego man or something like that. But he made all that stuff.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. That's where we actually got our display cases from those guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
that's
really
convenient. You didn't have to go to IKEA for them.
Oh, dude, we are I am.
We're thrifty as fuck.
Yeah.
If it ain't like
I'm
this
impressed.
is all brass armadillo, like we, you know what
Oh,
I mean? Like,
nice.
we got to. So you're always advocating on, you use your radio show to definitely be, to promote a lot of really fun things around the valley. Are you one to still enjoy said things around the valley? Like for example, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be attending Always Sunny trivia. So it's like
I saw that and I
Yeah.
was like, I have to
well,
go.
now you have to come. Now we have to be partners. You got to
We
come.
really
with me.
do. And I am.
June
I
28th
don't
at
wanna-
Yucca Tap Room.
I don't want to say that I am a massive fan, but I'm a pretty big fan. Have you been watching this latest season?
Of course I have.
That first episode was so fucking funny.
Do you remember, man? I mean, I got yeah.
Oh, so I got a new tattoo, and can you tell me what this is?
Denim chicken. Yeah, it's denim chicken.
Oh, God dang it.
So I say, all right, so now you know. Basement Dwellers will be at Always Sunny Trivia. Maybe not with Mo from Mo Show.
I mean, we could be doing Always Sunny Trivia right now if you want.
Oh, it was so funny. We did play around, and I was like, quiz me. And he was like, what is it? Like this? Okay, what is this? It's just
It's
like,
not even fair.
The answer is always rum ham or
yeah,
fight
exactly.
milk.
But I guess what I'm saying is that like even with like, do you ever feel like you get exhaustion from doing set promotions and going on the scene, or like even in your off time, do you still try to enjoy local Arizona events?
Ooh, it differs. It depends on what the event is.
Sure.
And then also, I find myself wanting to stay home more and more. I'm not sure if it's because this is the time where I hibernate because it is hot outside. But yeah, I mean, my girlfriend Ray is always trying to drag me to shows and local shows, and I'm just lazy right now. But I do need to start supporting more because I really haven't been going out and supporting people's local shows. I mean, yes, I'll talk about their shows on like Homegrown when I do my Sunday night segment where we feature local music. And I love supporting these bands because we do have a lot of great talent, a lot of artists, and they're all just really not seen. And if I can just give them a tiny spotlight, I love it. But I know I could be doing more by being more involved with the community. And, you know, quite honestly, I'm not where I should be. And I will work on that now that we're talking about it.
Well, we appreciate you supporting us.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
I
this is
mean-
incredible. This is the reason why I started this show was for local. I mean, because look, like you could say like LA is cool. I've never been to New York, but I'm sure it's cool for the scene and stuff like that. But I have been so blown away my entire adult life of just the people I've met, the things that I've attended in Phoenix alone. You know, before he passed away, I was, you know, I've seen Andy Warpigs a few times. I miss that guy every single day. You know. A big regret of this show is that I had to postpone and he was going to be on and then he ends up passing. But it's just like because of him, you know, that's how I discovered Trunk Space. And then I met Robbie from Playboy Man Baby, which got me
Robbie
into
is the best.
and I have been trying so hard to just. I know he's so busy, but like I want to talk. I want that guy in here so bad, but like. Our whole thing is that it's just like because we're out here too, you know, and we're small, but like it's like at the same, and it's not even a this for that thing, but it's like we love that you're out here trying to do something, so are we. And so for you, so you know, I guess you know we're kind of a little bit over halfway through. I definitely want to just, I guess we'll take this time to say thank you so much for being here. I mean, it's a huge deal to us.
Thank you. It means a lot. Seriously,
I appreciate you being very modest about it. You know, and you're not. I know. Don't worry. Yeah.
No, but it's not like that because I know what it's like to try and start and do things, and it's hard. It is so hard to get people to sign up and join. But for me, when I do these things, my whole goal is I'm here to have fun, and I'm not here to bring some weird egotistical thing. And I just genuinely love talking to other people a lot. To the point where it's almost a fault and I don't know how to get out of a conversation. And then, you know, we're stuck somewhere. Another reason why going to shows is hard, because I don't find myself watching the shows anymore. I find myself talking to everyone else because they know me from the radio or, you know, we're friends or we grew up in the scene or things like that. So it's turned into something different for me. But like when I get opportunities like this, where it's like one-on-one time or 1-on-3, now I'm nervous. Then, you know, it's cool. I'm down for that.
Well, I think too, like the older you get, like the more events that you go to, the more particular you get about like the people and the company that you're going to be keeping there, because you start to pick up on more of like the meta things as opposed to like I'm going there for this. It's like, well, if I'm going to go there, you know, I've been there before, so I want to make sure that there's this vibe there, and I want to talk to a lot of people. So if the event doesn't really like allow for that to happen, like I could see where you know you'd be a little bit more selective, but. And also selective with people too, because you're giving these people your energy, no matter who it is. So true.
And so if that person is constantly is an energy vampire, if they're Colin Robinson, then you want them out. You just don't want to keep feeding into that.
Oh, you're my favorite. Oh my God.
I know. We love that show.
We love that show
so
too.
good, right?
I had a What We Do in the Shadows party for my birthday a few years ago.
Oh, no way. Who did you, please tell
Laszlo.
me.
Oh, I'm Laszlo. He's my favorite.
Oh my gosh. See, I don't know if I want to be like, I I had this idea to ask Holmberg because he loves that show too.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would be funny if maybe him and I dressed up as some of the characters for What We Do in the Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would be funny if he was, oh my God, what the hell's his name? Nandor.
Nandor.
And then I would be Guillermo, his,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
I just thought it would be really funny to do. But I've never approached him about it.
You know, see, when you named like name drop like stuff like that, it's like that's another person. It's just like I would love to know what that guy's like. I'm sure he's a cool dude.
And
Like,
he's so cool. It's interesting because obviously you hear a persona on the air, and he's still that guy. But I mean, he really does. For me, he doesn't do it to everybody because again, energy. You know, you don't want to give it to the wrong people
Right.
or whatever. He has been extremely helpful. He's been extremely supportive, and he. Like, I don't think he doesn't like say it out loud, but I know that he wants the best for me. And it's really cool to see that and to get that from someone who has been somewhat of like a hero / mentor for you. And I don't think he realizes it. And I'm not just going to go and geek out and say that because once you do that, immediate turn off for him.
Yeah.
And I get that, but he has given me so many opportunities and it's been really cool.
yeah, it does sound like, again, that's just something I would love to do. Like it's literally just like I still listening. Like I love listening to their squares. Like I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's
Like,
been a cool thing to be a part of too.
right, and that's why I
And
like
stressful.
I like having fun with like there's episodes where like we have sound effects on there that like we just sound
I'm a
silly
fan
and like
of sound effects.
oh yeah, all
I
day
need
long,
'em.
and it's just like that's the one thing that I've always wanted to do. So to have you here just in the basement right now is like
It's one step closer to
yeah,
Holmberg.
it's just thank you for being my stepping stone.
Yeah, anytime.
So I mean, I definitely don't. I don't imagine that you have any plans of stopping. I mean, this is something that you want to keep continuing to do. I mean, is there anything else that you're incredibly passionate about that you could see yourself going to after?
I guess if I'm being incredibly honest, I feel like my time in radio might be done here soon.
Really?
I just don't know exactly. I have ideas of things I want to do, but I love doing. Okay, let me preface this. I love doing what I'm doing. I have one of the best jobs in the world where I get to provide people opportunities to go to an event, or if they don't have money to go see that event, or give them an experience. And I get to play great music, and I get
To be a
talk
vibe.
to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't feel challenged in what I'm doing anymore. And I think I need to find something that does that for me, that helps me want to grow and be better and create something different. Because I think for me in radio, I feel like I've already done everything I wanted to do. My whole goal was to get on a morning show, and I did it, and I love it. Now I feel like I'm doing kind of like a weird morning show, but in the day, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, because most of the time when people are on during middays, it's mainly talking like in and out of a song, quick, let's go, let's go, let's go. For me, I mean, I have games now. I have, segments. I have things to talk about, things to do, and sometimes I have guests on. And so I don't know. I don't mind where I'm at, but I feel like I need to do something to challenge myself even further. And whether that be with like more voice work, or with I mean, my ultimate dream would be voicing characters in video games and in animation.
I think you could absolutely do that.
I know
Andy's-
I
that's
can
Andy's
totally do
I
it.
want to do that. I think that'd be great. Yeah, that's something I've been trying to put together. I have like a vocal booth, like a home setup.
Nice.
But
Do you have a demo?
I'm currently putting a demo together.
I took
Something-
headshots of him for the record. So, yeah.
Yes, yeah, he helped me with that. But yeah, that's something that I'm like really passionate about too. But I just don't, starting that. I have a lot of stuff that I've recorded, but I don't want to like make that my demo. I want to like put a little bit more time into my demos. But
Have you had anybody listen to your demos?
yeah, so I actually have like one of those like backstage, like subscriptions, and I put some stuff out there. I found actually some like Discord channels.
Okay.
And just connected with like people from like the UK, because you can do it from home.
You could do anything from home. You got Fiverr around. I mean, anybody can help you
and
out
so
with that.
I've been looking at a lot of that. A lot of it is like skit animated stuff, and it's like a lot of like still frame. So it's like, you'll get like a script and then you'll send it in. But I mean, there's like a bazillion submissions. So right now, part of getting the demo reel is also making it sound, if they're like, we want to go ahead and go with you, but it's going to be, your stuff. It's like, that's a lot of the like submission part of it when they get it. It's like, oh yeah, your voice is really good, but it also is going to be like a home, work from home. So
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that my
process.
setup's really good. But yeah, no, I know I have that, that passion,
Yeah.
and it's like it's gonna happen. It's just I just got to keep doing it. But like we have that fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have our fire, but we also have the challenges that we have to overcome. And I think for me,
Yeah, like
my
realistically, right?
Yeah, my biggest challenge is I think I need to take like voice acting lessons. I need to learn how to convey emotion in certain ways or a certain right way, and I also need to hone down like my animated voices that I like.
Your
to do.
anime voice,
Cool.
your Western anime voice.
Yeah,
The grunts,
see-
you're like,
So I mean, if there was like a dream project for you to work on, like what would be like? Oh
I
my
would-
God, that's incredible.
I want to be a part of a video game.
Awesome.
yes.
I would love to just. It's
Even
funny
motion
because
capture, I would be so down. To do
yeah,
that
and
too.
see, like all of that stuff is totally like doable. But I think ultimately, I would love to. I mean, nowadays in video games, they're hiring legit actors.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some serious heavy hitters on there, and like, don't even get me started on Christopher Judge. Oh my God, the guy's incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing.
If you guys don't know, he voices Kratos in God of War, and he's fantastic. At least in the newer one since 2018.
Right.
But I digress. I just would like to learn how to harness that power and be better at what I'm trying to convey when it comes to certain lines or things like that. And then also just work on, like, you know how Holmberg does impressions? Like, I need to learn how to do impressions. I have some, but they're only like one line little things, and I don't want to do them now. Don't mess with me.
You're good. Yeah, I'm the same way.
I was like, you're gonna lead us into right now.
Right? Here's
I
my
was just-
Danny DeVito.
I was looking at Christian because I was like, dude, the amount of times that we just sit there and we're like, it's like we're doing a comedy show for the two of us. And we're just like, what if Christopher Walken was ordering McDonald's? I think you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
just like we just do like accents to each other. Like it's just that was one of our Patreon only.
What was the one that we did on the Patreon?
Yeah, we had a Patreon only episode where we literally just did like celebrity impersonations, but we read script like monologues from like serious movies, like There Will Be
my
Blood
God, I need to
and
watch
like
this.
Pulp Fiction.
We did the
I
intro
love
into
it.
Pulp Fiction. What was it? It was Somali Warlord
yeah,
Oh
Warlord.
my
Yeah,
God.
like
with a cholo or something. Horrible.
That would be. Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
love
it's
to do
I mean
something
it's
like
fun
that.
and that is super cool. You know, and one thing that you do mention or that you have said, what was
You're a big advocate for like being unapologetically
Yes.
yourself.
Oh yeah, I mean, wow, that's interesting.
You
Love it.
You've said it
I
before.
do.
Yeah, you know, and it's like we definitely see that. You know, you
I don't know how to be anything else but myself.
and that's a beautiful thing. You know,
Yeah.
and we're, I know he feels the same way I do. That you know, it's awesome to know that you're this awesome person. You know, personally, then
Away
you are
from
on
the
the
mic,
radio.
yes.
Yeah, you know, like away from the radio show. So it's just
But could you imagine, like, how hard would that life be to put on these two different personas for people? I mean, that's a lot of work.
It is, but I mean, to really genuinely think about, and I'm sure people can listen to, like, how often do you accidentally do that? You know, it's kind of like the meme for most people. It's kind of like you have like I always see
professional
like
mode
I
and
see
then
like the memes on Instagram where it's just like me using personality number 2 with group friend number 1.
well. Here, I'll give you a good example. I used to be a car salesman
Oh,
right.
100%.
for a car dealership that is heavily advocated by another radio host.
Oh, wow.
If
wow.
you can think about who it is,
Oh,
but
there's like 5 different radios.
We'll talk about it off air.
yeah,
They're not sponsoring
He's a
this.
really old guy. But that's like that was one of the things that would eat me up like when, in that business, right? Because like I feel I'm a silly goofy guy, right? But and in the car business, you have to be such a asshole, you know.
Very assertive. Yes.
You have to be, you're talking people out of thousands of dollars, you know. So it's hard.
Yeah. You have to
And-
lie to these people. You have to
act like they're friends.
you have to treat them as if you guys are friends.
Right.
And ultimately, you're just trying to get them to give you more money from their wallet.
Yeah, and so many times in that business, I tried to do that. I tried to just be myself and try to just be like, "Hey guys, I'm not trying to screw you over or anything like that." And then you go back into the sales tower, and they're like, "No, you need to screw them over."
Yeah,
you
you
know?
totally do.
So-
But you have a heart, and that's the thing. Is that's
That's why I
probably
didn't
why
make it.
you're not meant
Right.
to be a
I
car
was not meant
salesman.
for it. Yeah, no, it ate me alive.
And
Yeah.
it definitely pans to what we do as like just radio podcasting and stuff like that. Like my biggest fear is I never want to be the like a sellout. Like I never want to be like that's like, oh, like I want to promote your thing, well, we listened to a couple episodes and we're not a fan of that. It's like, oh, I'll change. Don't worry. It's so it's like I have a fear all the time that I'm not going to be myself, and then that's like a huge fear that I have. Not saying that we're like horrible people, but I also know that, some sponsorships are really,
well, then
really
there's-
niche. And
there is that too, but
Right.
you can be selective on. You don't have to say yes to everything.
and that's my problem. Is
Oh.
that because I feel like we're so new?
I do that too, though, so I get it.
Moving into even contracted work like photography and stuff like that. Like that's why I'm so glad to have a best friend like Christian, because it's because of him that I learned that it's just like you can't let people just walk all over you, dude. Like you just can't. Like you're
Yeah.
allowed to say no. You're allowed to know like what your worth is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have a hard time with doing that. So I mean, I'm sure there's times in your professional life where, because you're a very like you look what I guess corporate would call alternative. I mean, you have colored hair, you have tattoos.
Yeah.
And though it seems like you hang out with a lot of cool people in radio, I'm sure that at some point, that has been somewhat of a stepping stone for you of like, or almost like a hindrance maybe. Does that make sense?
Like, go deeper into detail.
Like, do you ever feel like you were not given specific opportunities for the way that you dress or perceive yourself, or
Because you're so unapologetically yourself. Has it put you in a situation where
Honest-
like, man, I lost that? Or
honestly,
whatever.
I think I've gained more being
See? That's
unapologetically
cool.
myself. And how should I put this? More often than not, I hear people saying they want to endorse me or they want me a part of their deal because they like who I am, and that's
You're just so fun to work with. Yeah, that's
it.
that's
Could be
cool.
that, even if I've never worked with him before, and I'm honored. I'm fucking thrilled because one, that's money, and
Yeah.
two.
Yes.
People like me, and that fulfills this little part in my heart that needs to be liked. So I'm totally cool with that. But as of like lately, I have been learning to not overextend myself and learning my value and learning my worth. Because when you're just giving it away for free, they're going to treat you as if they deserve it for free. And I've actually struggled with this with my partner before she's gotten her most recent job, which is insanely awesome. I met her through the local scene, and her ultimate dream is to go on tour with a band or whatever, an artist, and just take video, do photography, videography, all that stuff. But she's basically just kind of giving herself out for free for a lot of people. And she does incredible work. She has an incredible turnaround. And for the amount that they pay her and the amount of things that they ask her, it's not worth it. And so it has been kind of a challenge it was a challenge, I'll say that, these last like 4 or 5 years that we'd been together, trying to teach her like, hey, you don't have to say yes to this. Like, these people are kind of just using you. I mean, there's so many times where she's working on an edit for somebody for like months, and they only give her $250.
ouch.
Wow.
And I feel like not only is it a slap in the face to her, but it's a slap in the face to, as this person is being a creative, and he's like, support me, but yet you can't support my creative girlfriend. Oh my
Right.
God, I'm getting some out of spitting on the microphone over here. My bad. But yeah,
That'll be on sale for.
Actually, I'm taking it from my OnlyFans. Hate you guys. No, but I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than somebody being taken advantage of.
For sure.
And that's one thing I really don't want. And I try to think about that.
I think you being an established professional and being honest with yourself, and honestly 3 people, well, 2.5 that you've met for the
the
first
half?
time. Me, because I met you before.
Oh,
but
I was like, am I meeting the lower half, the upper half, the middle half? What
Throw my
half?
legs here.
What
yeah,
half?
just half a man.
being so honest like that, I think that just really speaks for how just awesome of a person you are, to be comfortable with your own self and be like, you know what, I don't know if this is the end of my journey. Like
I just had this thought. Isn't it weird that when you see these people that are in more of like the spotlight or whatever, or they do their thing, you're amazed that they're this nice.
Right,
Why
yeah.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, is it because like we just perceive like, oh, you had to do.
Are
so
you
many
holding me
things.
on a pedestal? What are you
You have
doing?
to do so many morally compromising things to get in those positions. That's why people are like, oh, you're here and you're still nice.
I think for me, my thing is like, I'm excited that they're nice. Ultimately, I just want to do a good job.
Yes.
I want to do a great job, and I want them to appreciate that I'm trying. And I honestly, truly appreciate that you guys did your homework, and that's really fucking cool.
out to
no one's
Christian,
ever
yeah.
done homework on me before.
No, shout out to Christian for that. And I'm going to 100% say that to Christian, because if he did not exist, it would be Bean Mo being like, hey, watch this dude fall off a...
They're like, what is this, ridiculousness? Like, I'm watching this on MTV right now.
No, and you know, we're about to wrap up here, and I really just wanted to take this segment to more of like a personal level. Like, the reason I wanted to start the show originally was I kind of wanted to be chicken soup for just the person's soul of just like, it really is, because
Early 2000s.
times are tough. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is essentially desperate for some sort of purpose. And I think my favorite thing about this time that we've had with you is that we look at you as like this awesome radio personality. And again, you were vulnerable enough with us to say, like, you know what? I don't even know if this is. So it does make me think that it's just like, sometimes I do feel like, and maybe Christian and Andy can agree, that it's just like, if you're into one thing, like this is it, like it's got to be it. And this is why our parents worked at the same job for 50 years and then we're miserable.
But
you know?
that's what they've grown up and have been accustomed to know. Did you guys watch the Arnold documentary on? Let me tell you, talk about an inspirational fucking story. As somebody who's grown up loving Arnold Schwarzenegger movies,
You're the best.
He's one of my heroes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
he's
Total
pretty awesome.
Recall is my like one of my all-time favorite movies.
yeah.
You at the party.
Apparently, right next to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, from what Holmberg says, which is very false. It's not. God, I want to strangle him every time he says that. I'm like, I will throw punch you, but I can't. Watching that was so inspirational, because even in his career, and if you look at other people's multiple careers,
Yeah.
there's no timeline on what you could do. I mean, he started off in his early age weightlift or, you know, bodybuilding, and he got so fucking good at that to the point where, like, well, I can't challenge myself anymore. That's kind of how I felt with massage therapy. I was like, I've done everything I want to do. I can't challenge myself anymore. I really want to do this thing that I'm itching to give me. I want to be an entertainer. And so that's radio came in. With Arnold, I'm not comparing my story to Arnold, mind you. Arnold, then he's like, I want to be an actor, and I want to, you know, be not just, you know, a side character. I want to be the main character.
Right.
And so he, you know, and he did that, and he created so many fucking awesome movies because
And I
of
mean,
it.
my God, what a work ethic. I mean,
Exactly.
You know, working for, you know, lifting for 4 hours, going to his regular day job, then going to auditions, then going back to work out again.
And he got better and better and better at what he was doing. He wanted to perfect it, because I don't want to give away too much, but in the documentary, he talks about how he doesn't have like an American accent, so he has to relearn how to speak
We'll watch it
to
tonight.
people. It's so good. I mean, it's like 1 hour episodes, and there's 3 episodes, and
yeah.
it divides his bodybuilding career, his acting career, and I think the third one is American. It's when he's a politician,
Yeah.
or when he's in politics, and even that's fascinating
Which is
too.
insane. Can we talk about that for a second? Like,
Right?
Like, I never really think about that. That fucking Austrian man was the governor of California.
And it couldn't have happened at a more perfect time. Is when, you know, the governor at the time was, you know, basically being like overthrown. They're like, nah, fuck this guy, and they needed somebody to come in, and it kind of opened. God dang it! I want to watch this again now. But it opened the floodgates for a lot of other weird people after they heard like, oh, Arnold's running. But like, he actually wanted to go in there and make a difference. And I don't know what life is.
support him, you know?
Right.
People like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, there was
love
a
that
lot
Terminator.
of people, and he was running as a Republican, which is crazy
Yeah.
because he wasn't doing traditional Republican things. And so I think a lot of it either upset people or they loved it. It is what it is. But you can't sit there and tell me that this dude that was not from America just literally created the American dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now people want that.
Right.
How could you not want that?
He lived it. He came here. What did he say? He came with like $10 or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing.
just
Literally
got
nothing.
off a bus or a plane and like. Just,
Yeah, and it was for a bodybuilding contest.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It's unreal. Me and
It is
Christian,
crazy.
we've been trying so hard to get back into shape and stuff like that. And like, we've been pretty good on our regimens and stuff. And I told him, I was like, we're going to watch this. And I say 15 minutes in, we're going to go get the bells from from the barbell from
you
your
guys
room.
are going to get so inspired
I
to
was
work
gonna
out.
say, we're just going to get, I can't wait. I'm going to get super fucking stoned. I'm going to get
yeah.
super motivated. And
I was
then we're
doing
gonna be
arm
like,
circles the whole time, just hoping.
oh
I'm
my
gonna
God.
get toned.
I could talk for so much longer, but I think we're going to cut it here soon. Mo, this has been, not exaggerating, and I'm sure Christian can agree, one of the best interviews, just podcasts we've ever had. You have been such an awesome guest.
His face says differently, but
He's
sure.
he's
I'm just kidding.
I've
he's
been like
down.
sitting here like the whole time. Like,
He's down a pint of blood. Don't
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
don't
that
mind
is
him.
true.
Yeah,
That
so.
is
I'm a
true.
little woozy.
Wait,
Let's get you a banana.
I did have one question.
What's
Could I
up?
ask?
Oh yeah, go
totally.
ahead. Yeah.
So you've been, obviously been doing this a long time. You've probably gotten this question. It's a very basic question, but is there a moment out of all of these years that you've been doing this that is just like, after you turned off you stopped recording, that you were just like, that shit was crazy.
in what aspect?
I mean, maybe not like, oh, can we air this? Or just like, man, that was awkward. I'm glad that was, that interaction was tough.
Like
Or-
an interview that you couldn't escape from because you're on the radio, you're live, and
I mean, you probably don't dwell on those things because you're a very bubbly and sparkly person, but
it's not even on the rabbit hole. Let's talk about some trauma,
for
right?
me,
real quick.
I have to know those things. That's just very interesting because not a lot of people are put
I'm
in that
surprised
situation.
you don't know mine because I have made it so clear
We didn't do all of our homework
on
apparently.
how much I cannot stand Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh please, can we
I
close
knew
the
it.
show with this, please?
I knew.
Can we
he
talk about it?
It was the worst interview I've ever done in my life. I'm
Oh, man.
100% sure. I felt defeated when I got out of that interview.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't all my fault. Maybe it
No,
was.
no. I think it was his.
So, so you saw the interview.
yeah. Oh, I remember
You
now.
were fishing for me to talk about.
For the record,
know.
I didn't know anything about it. I would love
Okay.
to hear about it.
I did. This is back like a little after the pandemic. We were doing Zoom interviews, or we're doing like Instagram live interviews.
Even worse.
I was scheduled to do an interview with Colson Baker, and it was on the same day that I was starting middays because the week before they decided to put in the Woody show instead for the morning show. So I'm not necessarily all there. I have all my questions ready and everything, and we're talking. And as soon as he gets on to the Instagram live to do this interview, I had seen so many other ones. He seemed super pleasant and very nice. I was like, all right, this is going to be a breeze. I also listened to his album, before. Actually, we'll get to that in a second. He gets on the phone, and the whole time, like, he's holding his phone, like, up like this. So I don't necessarily see him. He's walking around the house talking to, like, other people. And I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to ask questions, and I'm just doing surface level questions because I'm like, is he even fucking paying attention?
yeah.
So then he finally gets outside, and I'm asking him a question about like his coffee shop that he opened or whatever. And he was like, man, this is why I fucking hate doing interviews. He went off and just talked about how he's like, why don't you ask something deeper? And I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I'm stressing out because I'm like, man, I want to say
Right.
what I really
Fuck this
want to
guy.
say.
I don't even want to do this with you, dude.
And I'm like, look, dude. And he's like, look at you. You look like you would love my album. And in my head, I'm thinking, I hate your album so much.
yeah.
I would listen to it over the weekend before I did the interview, and I just kept thinking, I was like,
Phony.
I just felt like it felt like they were supposed to be Blink-182 songs, and then Travis is like, oh, here's some thrown out old songs
Yeah, of
that you
course.
could sing, and then he tried to do his best rendition, and it just wasn't it for me.
And I'm sure you're embarrassed because people are watching, and
I'm
it's like,
slightly embarrassed, but I do have an arsenal of questions.
yeah.
So I come out the gate with a deep question, and I think it was about like Operation Ivy and a certain song, and it all tied in. And he was excited after that. After I asked that one question, smooth sailing. It wasn't terrible at all, but it was just that moment where he was trying to call me out, and then I flipped it on him. I had refused to go back and look, and they post the fucking interview on YouTube. And I just refused to go back and watch it, even though I know I should have, to just see what I could have done better or worse, whatever. Like, there's no changing it now. And I was just afraid to look at the comments.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah,
It is. And
that's horrible.
I
So
finally,
draining.
I finally did it after a few years. And everyone was fucking supporting me. It
Of
was
course.
So
Hell yeah.
weird.
No, it is totally
No-brainer.
part
And
of the zeitgeist to just rip that guy a new asshole, because I was going to say that
It's so
no,
true.
because the way that he talks to people, it's because his whole gimmick now is just, I'm trying hard to be a rock star.
He wants to be like a superstar.
And
now,
it's so frustrating.
I mean, oh my God. I couldn't, if I thought that was embarrassing, imagine how embarrassed he was when he was doing The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne, and he was rapping, and Charlemagne was
Oh,
like,
that dude doesn't let anybody
he
slide.
Does not let anybody slide, and he was just like, that was mid.
Also,
and just talking so much shit.
you could be happy in knowing that you've never been booed in front of thousands of people, so that's pretty cool.
Not yet.
Not
Okay,
yet.
Not
so
yet.
Not yet.
Maybe
so.
after when I walk outside, your neighbors might be a little upset I didn't come to their,
Thank you so much for telling me that.
You know, I kind of got the ick for MGK. Like, do you remember his catfish episode?
You had a catfish episode?
No, wow.
He was a celebrity guest on an episode of Catfish, and
I cannot compute. Go ahead.
it gets all the way. It's I don't know how old it is. It's an older episode, but it gets all the
Yeah.
way to the end. And the person like is like, oh no, they discovered me, and they like try to get in their car and like drive away. But he's being so trashy the whole time. I don't know how scripted that show is.
Yeah.
But the whole time he's like banging on the door. He's like, come out of your house, motherfucker. Blah, 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 blah. And then they're like trying to drive away. He's like, that's why you a bitch. I'm like,
God.
bro,
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
you don't
I
know
feel like
these
he's just
people.
like that.
Yeah,
dude.
or it's
as
like-
soon as the camera turns on.
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
Imagine a celebrity coming to your house and just telling you like what a piece of shit you are.
Oh
I
my
felt bad for the catfish.
this
For
is all they
sure,
have,
for
dude.
sure. Like my ick, my ick with him. This is the MGK hour now. My ick with him was that fucking interview that he did when people were like, oh man, it's so cool that you're doing this festival, and he's like, yeah, it's just stupid. There's all these fucking posers out here on stage with their dad Nikes on, like their New Balances, and their where are your fucking Chucks at, bro? Where are your skinny jeans at, bro? It's like, dude,
Didn't you used to be a
I'm
rapper,
gonna
bro?
die.
I know, right?
yeah, you sound like the most insufferable dude. Like it's just, I'm
I
so
don't
sorry
know.
that happened to you.
No, don't be. I mean, if anything, it made me a better interviewer because going back and you're getting called out in front of a bunch of people, you're like, now you start thinking, fuck, am I not doing a good job? And then, everything changed or whatever. But now every time I look at an interview, I get ready for an interview, I always go back and I think about that. How could I be better than I was there?
Well, guess what? We actually knew that this was a thing, and if you come outside MGK, we have.
Oh my God.
He's just
It's
like,
time to settle the score.
I don't even want to be here right now, but
I know, right?
my
I was like,
God.
you managed to get him. He clearly had nothing to do.
This was so awesome, Mo. Thank you again so much.
Anytime.
Before we go, if you have some plugs, now's the time. Where can people find you?
Oh God. Yes, you can follow me on all my social media accounts. It's all the same at MORO Radio or just all one word, Moro Radio. And YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, OnlyFans. I don't know what else. It's everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. It was, and then I guess. We just I want to make it very clear that we have just sent out picture 2 of 100 for our $15 basement dweller Patreon subscribers, the Basement Bays. Remember that there are still 98 pictures to be drawn. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful penis drawings by yours truly, Mr.
Oh my
Christian
God.
Talone. They are
Love it.
incredible. I would like to not give away what the second one was, but all of them are original. One of ones.
Can we do one where I'm just looking at your artwork of penises and
That's a great idea.
It's just my reactions and maybe that one goes higher or lower.
$15 a month, you might get number 3 of Mo reacting to Christian's drawings.
It would be pretty amazing.
Patreon.com/Basement Dweller Productions if you want to support the show. All of our links will be in the link tree provided down below on the YouTube video. Thank you again one more time, Miss Mo, for coming on. This was incredible.
My pleasure.
And we hope to maybe have you on again sometime.
Yeah.
Everyone else listening, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We love you. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
If you like what you heard, type into their Instagram and Twitter. The information's right below with their email.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy.
Be sure to log into the channel by subscribing and check out the previous episodes. But until then, we'll see you next week with a new one. We out for now.